Hi, Mrs. Garcia. May I speak to you a minute?
Sure, Madison, what is it?
I told my mom I wanted to learn how to create art using artificial intelligence. I've been reading a lot about it. She told me to ask my art teacher since this is my favorite subject. Since you have shown us so many interesting styles from the great artists in history, I thought AI might supplement what we are learning now and teach us some more ways to use our creative skills.
That's a very interesting idea, Madison. In fact, the teaching staff of our school has discussed AI a little and feel that it may be something more appropriately taught in high school. There are many complicated aspects of this new technology, especially ethics considerations, which would be better comprehended by older students.
I already know about stealing pictures or having the computer just produce them quickly and easily without me using my creativity. Mom already lectured me about that. I have watched some videos that show how to create the images, and I learned how to write a prompt to describe what the picture would look like. Writing prompts is not easy, and it takes a lot of thought to compose. Each prompt is unique and represents each student's stark artist's interpretation of how to complete the teacher's assignment. Every final picture produced would be different and show each student's own creative effort.
I guess I wasn't aware of the steps to create an image, but that raises some other concerns we teachers have. Our curriculum is so full that I don't see how we could learn about how it works in order to explain it to our students, to say nothing of the extra time it would take to actually fit it into our lesson plans.
But Mrs. Garcia, it only took my friend Amy and I a few hours to get started and make our first video. Also, if you agree to look into it for our class, we have a benefactor, John, who will provide you with instructions free of charge.
Well, Madison, you make some convincing points. I will speak to the other teachers at the next faculty meeting and see if there is any interest.
Thanks for listening to my idea, Mrs. Garcia. May I show you real fast some pictures Amy and I each created with AI?
Okay, but I only have a couple minutes. Let me see them.
My mom gave us an assignment. Create an image of a dog in the woods using the Cubist art style. This first one was created by my friend Amy. Her written prompt was, give me an image of an old Labrador retriever in a heavily wooded forest on a fall day with colorful leaves and the sun shining through the trees onto the sleeping dog. The dog should take up 1/3 of the image. Create it in the Cubist art style. This second one was produced from my prompt, which was, create an image of a beagle puppy in a country scene in woods with lots of branches on a path because there has been a recent spring storm and leaves are down and droplets of water are on the leaves and an old man is in the distance searching for his dog that ran from him because of the loud sound of the storm. The old man is soaking wet. Create the image using the Cubist painting style of art.
It's certainly interesting work, Madison. Not at all what I expected. Maybe we will call this John and listen to what he has to say.
See you tomorrow, Mrs. Garcia. I can't wait to tell Amy.
Good night, Madison.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lewis, Madison's mother, and I'm a working artist. Madison is also a budding artist, and she has been expressing an interest recently in art created by artificial intelligence. When she first approached me about this, I didn't know anything about it, but my immediate reaction was not positive, especially for a child her age. Because of her interest, I decided to keep an open mind and do a little research. Lots of factors led to my reservations about introducing this technology to her. My first concern was a fear that it would replace her instruction in traditional art, which I believe is critical to her studies, especially if she wants to pursue art as a career. Secondly, I had concerns that it was just pushing a button and would stifle creativity and critical thinking. Since we were discussing introducing this in the school setting, I envisioned a very negative reaction from teachers regarding the technical skills and extensive learning they would have to acquire to instruct the children. Additionally, the last thing teachers need is more work. I know how overwhelmed with current curriculums they already are. Lastly, ethical concerns were high on my list. I began my research. Much of it I did online, but I also spoke to fellow artists and requested honest, objective observations. I was ultimately convinced that there was considerable merit in incorporating AI art at the elementary level. Most sources felt that if AI art was to be taught, that it was extremely important to emphasize that it is only a supplement to traditional art education. It can be a tool for exploring new creative possibilities and expanding students' artistic horizons. Children can be shown how AI art can spark new ideas and encourage students to think outside the box. As Madison told you, writing and refining prompts develop critical thinking skills. I'm convinced that addressing the ethical aspects of using AI is particularly appropriate at an early age because it can be more entrenched in younger minds as they just commence with learning processes. AI is increasingly prevalent in our society, and introducing it within limits at an early level of education will very likely have a significant impact, preparing them for more in-depth studies in later grades. Exposure to technology other than phone apps would benefit them in the future. The last issue I looked at was the feasibility of asking teachers and administrators to incorporate AI art in curriculums. While the scope of my research was limited, I found a considerable number of sources relating to teacher training and lesson planning. It is not a daunting task. I believe it is worth a limited test run in your school. John will be beside your side during development,